Hey everybody, Brad from Soiking the Drone here. I've got the SJRC F7 4K Pro out at the lake at the Butt Crack of Donny, and you can see it's a nice overcast morning. Clouds are starting to break up a little bit, but yeah, I've got the I want to take the F7 4K Pro out for my initial flight. So this will be the first time I'm flying this beast. You can see by the trees there's a slight breeze today, so hopefully the SJRC F7 4K Pro can handle that. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in video mode, start recording. I've got 12 satellites, so I'll go ahead and hit the takeoff button. Oh, I probably need to start the motors. So I'll go ahead and hit the takeoff button on the app, slide to takeoff. And there you see the F7 4K Pro. It's got that 3-axis gimbal on there. Supposed to be able to get 25 minutes of flight out of this guy. It's looking good. It's still right over the launch pad. Nice and steady. This has dual GPS. It has the GPS and the GLONASS. So it should have pretty good accuracy. The FPV looks crystal clear. This does have 4K. It says it shoots in 15 frames per second, but I guess we'll see how that looks. Let's take it up a little bit. It's definitely handling the wind very well. And the FPV is crystal clear. It's wow. This is supposed to get 3 kilometers of range. I'm not sure if I want to test that today. So let's just take it out a little bit. There is a slight delay in the controls. So when I put the input in, it's just a little bit of delay. Got some birds going after it. You can see that. There is a bit of choppiness in the FPV. I'm not sure if you can see that in the screen recording. Drop that gimbal down a little bit there. See, I'm down to 72% battery already. So I'm not sure about that 25 minutes of flight time. And you can see it jerks. It jerks to the to its right when I stop putting input. A little bit. I mean, the FPV is crystal clear though. Can't wait to see the what's recorded on the SD card, which I'll have that up on the screen as long as it does record. Yeah, you can see it's got a little bit of a jerkiness to it when I let off the sticks. It like jerks. It's already down to 66% battery. And this is my first flight with it, so hopefully the battery life gets a little bit better as you go. So let's go and let's see where we can, here we go. We'll do GPS follow. So it's coming over to me. Drop the gimbal down. So here we're doing GPS follow. So it's turning around. Bring that gimbal up. All right, so for the rest of this, I am talking into my phone for audio. This is where I stopped doing the GPS follow, and you can see that I had turned my GoPro off and the screen recording on my iPhone had failed, so that's why I don't have any screen recording or audio for that. So now I'm going into image follow. And it just turned around, kind of weird. I turned it back around. So yeah, it comes up with a little icon on the screen. You can you slide it across, and then you can draw a box around yourself. You know, kind of like DJI. And what it does, it just follows you with the camera, but it doesn't actually move its location. It just stays in one spot. So as you can see, I'm walking and it's staying in its one spot, but it will turn, it will yaw to follow me. I think I had to reestablish my image on the screen right here. Or maybe I was a little out of range, I think, and it wasn't quite following me, because it only does a certain range when it does this follow. So now you can see that it's following me, following my image. It would have been a lot better if I'd had the screen recording, but of course the iPhone failed me. So anyway, but you can see it follows you and just stays in one spot, which is pretty cool. So you would just use the GPS follow if you wanted to actually move and follow you. It does a pretty good job. And there, it lost me right there. So I got out of that mode and I was going to try circle mode. So now I went into circle mode. And it like did this. Kind of weird. It went kind of out. And I was kind of freaked out because of the trees. I didn't know what it was going to do. So I exited circle mode. I went back into circle mode after I take it up a bit, make sure I'm over the trees. This thing does actually fly really great. You can see it's got really great image stabilization. The 3-axis gimbal works really well. It's too bad it's only 15 frames per second though. It's pretty strange. I mean, I did verify. I looked at the video information, and it's 4K, 15 frames per second. So there you see me. I'm going up, going back into circle mode. I want to make sure I get over the trees here. So apparently, what it does is you can set a parameter as far as what the circumference is or whatever. And then it just goes out, and then it just starts circling from where it started. So you can see right here, it's starting to circle. You can see those trees move, the branches and the leaves moving. Or little bit of a breeze out there, but it handled it pretty well. And you can see too, when I move the camera up and down, that it has like a auto exposure. It like changes the exposure from when you're, move the camera up, move the camera down. It's a pretty good drone, actually, I think. The battery went down pretty fast, but I did get probably about, I'd say 16, 17 minutes out of it. So they claim 25, but maybe that's after you use it for a bit, get the battery worn a little bit, and maybe without any wind. So here I'm still doing the circle. Then I get out of the circle mode. So I was getting low on battery at this point. So I was checking out. It's got 3 different speeds. It's got cinema, it's got normal, and it's got sport. So right here I was just going out in normal mode. Again, I apologize for not having a screen recording, but these things happen. And I had to use my iPhone because I initially downloaded the app to my Galaxy S21 Ultra. But what happens is the app crashes. You try to it'll connect to the drone, you'll see a picture, and then it'll crash on my Android device. So I had to put it on my iPhone, and the iPhone worked fine. But I screwed up the screen recording somehow. And you can see I'm yawing around, and I'll let off the stick, and it'll jerk back. It's very strange. So I'll do it again. I'll yaw to face me, and it will jerk back to its left. I don't know if it was the wind causing it to do that, but if I move it back and I start going forward, then it's fine. But if I'm yawing and I stop, it'll just jerk back. Here I'm coming back in sport mode. You can see the top of those trees whipping around. Like I said in the earlier video, the FPV on this thing it's crystal clear. It's amazing how clear it is. I didn't really have any breakup whatsoever. I think right here I'm in cinema mode. Trying that out, seeing how smooth the video is. It's kind of hard to get really smooth video when it's only 15 frames per second, so I'm going to go back out here, and you can see it jerk back around. I let off the stick and it jerks. Now it's jerking to the right. So as soon as I start going forward, it's fine. I did do a compass calibration at the initial flight, and you can see how slow it's going in the cinema mode here. Nice and slow. So yeah, if this even had like 24 frames per second, it would be pretty nice. Because the video actually looks pretty decent. So I'm going to go out here a little bit and then hit return to home on the remote, and you'll see it shortly. It'll start rising up to the pre-designated height that I set it at through the app. There it goes. It starts going up. So I'm in the return to home right here. So I do definitely want to try a range test with this guy. Because I was out like, I think the farthest I was out like 500-600 feet, something like that. And there was no breakup whatsoever. So I think it definitely can. I don't know if it can do 3,000 meters, but maybe something comparable. And for a toy drone, it's not too bad. So here you see I dropped the gimbal down and I'm coming back home. And yeah, it wasn't too far off really. You'll see coming up. It looks pretty dead on. I mean, from here it looks pretty dead on. I think it might have drifted a little bit once it got down closer with the wind. So there's the SJRC F7 4K Pro. Pretty good drone in my opinion. I'll definitely be doing more videos on this guy, testing it out. Hopefully my screen recording will work. So you can see it's a little bit off. It's kind of drifting off to its left right there. So here comes the SJRC F7 4K Pro. See those lights blinking on there? It's a little bit off. There's the landing pad over there, and there's the SJRC F7. Let me bring that gimbal back up. There it is. All right. Let me go ahead and stop the recording. So there it is, guys, the SJRC F7 4K Pro initial flight. It did really well. It came back home. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, I'm interested to see the SD card footage, see how that looks. The screen recording looks great. It looks very clear. There was no breakup whatsoever. We didn't really go out that far, and they claimed 3,000 meters, but yeah, so for initial flight, I'm pretty happy with it. So yeah, thanks for watching my initial flight with this guy, the F7 4K Pro, and take care, guys. Bye.